こんにちは皆さん、テリチャンネルのテリです。いつも動画を見てくれてありがとう。ロシアのパーシャルモビリゼーションから2週間ほど経ちました。私の実家に無事ロシアからいとこが来ました。心配してくださった人がありがとうございます。今日もジョージアの首都トビリシから新しいニュースと私は感じていることを話したいと思います。First of all, compared to 4 or 5 days ago when I took previous video, the traffic congestion and the crowded of people are still increasing. Tbilisi is really very crowded. I have never seen this kind of thing before, but this is not happening only because of the Russians. There are plenty of reasons for that. For example, as I told you before, universities which was closed almost for 2 years now started to do classes in person. Many roads are being renovated, and plus last week was very big festival and its name is Tbilisoba. And this festival is about National Day of Tbilisi, and I think this was also related. These kind of festivals are happening in Georgia almost in every city. 例えば私はその前はルスタビという町に住んでいました。そしてルスタオバという祭りもあります。And this is like at that day they are making some concerts and people are gathering there and like they are selling some old stuffs とこんな感じ。It's very difficult to say anything about this because since the invasion of Ukraine started in February, the number of Russians has been increasing without stop. I saw many people who are working in restaurants or markets who are not speaking Georgian, and when I'm walking outside also I can hear lots of Russian language and Russian music as well. Even it's Georgia here, it still happens, these kind of things. Can you imagine that you can't use Japanese in Japan? It's kind of like same situation here as well. It sounds like my country is supporting Russia, but it's not true. The president of my country and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs have also announced that it's illegal regarding referendum into Russia. Our country's territory, Abkhazia and Ossetia, is occupied by Russia, which is 20% of our country. すごいですね。これでっかいなテリトリーです。It's almost same what is happening into Ukraine now because some territories Russia took it from Ukraine, right? Territories what Russia occupied from us. Now there's so many Russians are living. Now I will speak about little bit border situation again. As I mentioned before, many Russians has crossed the border and entered into Georgia in last few days after the partial mobilization, but this situation seems to be calmed down a bit. The Georgian government has announced that border has returned to the normal situation now. I also checked with the Google map, same territory as before, from Russia から Georgia のボーダーまで, and now it doesn't seem to be that much big traffic jam what we saw before, almost like 19 kilometers there, and this is same as what government said. I don't know why this happened. Maybe it's because that Russia has built facilities near to border to collect soldiers from there, and it's impossible to leave the country, or rich people has already left the country, and this might be some possible reasons at this time. I think there might be various reasons, but situation that it is calm now seems to be true even when you check the Google Maps. As I said before, our country's economy has ironically been growing in this situation, and even information has been released this year, which is showing that Georgian economy has grown 10.9%. This is a very high number, and it's likely that Georgian police and military salaries are expected to increase by 20% from 2023. This sounds very good for us, but living cost is increasing very, very high. ここからここまで. Renting apartment in Tbilisi is very difficult, and also foreigners who can speak Georgian will be charged more high costs than usual. I really don't like this situation because it's very greedy from Georgians to act like this. It's like, can you imagine, I came to Japan and because I'm foreigner and 例えば I can't speak Japanese, when 例えば house costs 100 lari, like Japanese will take from me like 300, you know? こんな感じです、ここも。めちゃくちゃ変ですね。なんかおかしい。And especially now when this much Russians came into Georgia, they are doing this much and making a lot of money. I'm reading lots of comments that Georgian government is too kind to Russia. Actually, the government in 2008, when we fought the Russia, was very different from the government what we have today. The president at that time was named Saakashvili, and he's very popular even nowadays, and especially among the young people, because we fought Russia at that time, and these young people knows everything about that. The current government is officially aiming to get into the European Union and the NATO, but people know that this government, what we have now, is more closer to Russia than European Union or NATO. If we really think about bright future for Georgia, we may be more closer to European Union and NATO with a leader like Saakashvili. But keeping distance from the Russia will get negative impact on our economy in a short term, and there is also possibility of the war with Russia again. ジョージアはラシアと比べれば小さいな国です。Georgian population is just 4 million and the Russian population is 140 million. だからこれはどっちが良いか本当にわからないです。So even in Georgia, there is two kinds of people. People who likes our government and people who don't. And this happens in every country, I guess. And the people doing demo are frequent in my country as well. So politics of my country is really very complicated. I think no one will understand this. たくさんコメントをもらいましたので、いくつかコメントを紹介したいと思います。今から読みます。いとこに現売決定ぐらい言えないのか。お金のためにこんなところで話す前にやることをあるやろう。I will not let my family fight the Russian dictator, and I will not let him kill the pure people of Ukraine. 次も読みましょう。日本で例えたら400万人の外国人男性が一気にやってきたってことですね。それは大混乱になります。はい、大混乱です。次も読みましょう。ジョージアの領土を占領しているロシアがウクライナ侵攻により動員令でジョージアに逃げて、それを受け入れているジョージアという矛盾。そうですね。これは多くのジョージア人の感じていることです。And 他のコメント。ジョージアという国が少しわかりました。ありがとう。はい、ありがとうございます。また皆さんの興味があったらお話したいと思います。最後に私からお願いがあります。コメントでジョージアのことをグルジアと言ったり、日本で発信しているラシア人の YouTuber の中にもジョージアをグルジアと呼ぶ人もいます。Of course, I know they don't mean no offense, but this sounds a little bit insulting for Georgians. 日本には2015年からロシア語のグルジアは英語のジョージアに変わりました。And this country named Georgia is confusing people between American Georgia and European my country Georgia. In Japan also there is very famous canned coffee and name is Georgia, and this is confusing Japanese people as well. But if you have a respect for my country, if you call my country Georgia, I would be more happy about it. Even some Japanese people who came into Georgia, they are calling my country Georgia in the SNS and in conversation as well. But if you mention in front of Georgian people on our country's name to Georgia, I think it will be very hard to do a good relationship with them because this word is Russian and we have bad past as you see with Russia. I would not care so much, but this is a bit sensitive topic. But actually 皆さん、私の国の本当の名前はサカトベロです。Not Georgia, not Georgia, but サカトベロ。And many our country's people wants to be called with that name, but because it's not like a national name, it's very hard for foreign peoples to call this one. But we really prefer because Georgia is English word and Georgia is like Russian word. And サカトベロはジョージア語の言葉だからこれで呼びたいです。これは日本とジャパンの同じですね。では今日のビデオはここまでです。まだジョージアのことで気になることがあったらコメントしてください。私もジョージアの記事を読んでまたビデオを撮りたいと思います。では最後まで見てくれてありがとう。次のビデオでお会いしましょう。またねー。